What up, Fightful fam? Shaquille Madjoui here, and it's EA UFC 4 release day. EA UFC 4 boasts more than 230 fighters on its roster, but there are some notable exceptions. Today, we'll take a look at the top 10 missing fighters from EA UFC 4. First, some honorable mentions. Shout out to Jeff Neal, Ian Heinisch, Marvin Vittori, Dan Ige, Rob Font, Drew Dober, Shane Burgos, Gregor Gillespie, Macy Chiasson, sorry Marab, don't know how to pronounce your last name, Davilishvili, sorry, Alex Perez, and Askar Askarov. Let's hope we see all these guys in the game at some point. Number 10, Women's Flyweight Division. Okay, I know this is a little bit of a cop-out, but man, is the Women's Flyweight Division weak. Jennifer Maia, who's fighting for the UFC Women's Flyweight title against Valentina Shevchenko, is missing, as is veteran Roxanne Modafferi, and fellow ranked fighters Andrea Lee, Macy Barber, Montana De La Rosa, and Antonina Shevchenko. I mean, I know it's not the most popular division in the sport, but come on, let's get these women in there. Number 9, Islam Makhachev. Islam Makhachev boasts a ridiculous 18-1 record and has been earmarked as something like the next Khabib. Riding a 6-fight winning streak, Makhachev has finished the likes of Gleison Tibau and Kajan Johnson, and also holds victories over Nick Lentz and Davi Ramos. A fantasy booking between him and friend Habib Nurmagomedov, and yes, that's sort of how you pronounce his name, would be truly fascinating. Number 8, Cody Stamann. Cody Stamann has been a legitimate bantamweight for years now. He was a serious threat heading into the Aljamain Sterling fight in 2018, boasting a 17-1 professional record. He has cooled a little since, true, but is still a top 10 bantamweight with wins over Brian Caraway and Brian Kelleher. Number 7, Irene Aldana. Irene Aldana is a little bit of a dark horse in the women's bantamweight division, but she is marked for big things after being paired with former champ Holly Holm. She has a truly well-rounded style, boasting 6 knockouts, 3 submissions, and 3 decisions that would cater for any style of play. Number 6, Ryan Hall. Okay, Ryan Hall is not actually as highly ranked as some of the previous inclusions on the list, but that is not for a lack of trying. The grappling wizard has had a notoriously difficult time getting matchups due to his stifling style and low name value. Hall floored Darren Elkins repeatedly with crazy spinning kicks in their fight and quickly tapped BJ Penn with his patented heel hook. A true original with 2 very particular and unusual strengths in the fight game, Ryan Hall would make for intriguing if underutilized gameplay. Number 5, Diego Ferreira. Look, I'll give EA a pass on not including Diego. The guy was not all that well known prior to his win over Anthony Pettis in January of this year. In fact, I think he is still very underrated. He should be, however, an immediate contender for a DLC update. The 8th ranked lightweight is on a 6-fight win streak and has wins over the aforementioned Pettis and Rustam Khabilov. His only losses are to killers Dustin Poirier and Beneil Dariush, and those fights were more than 5 years ago. Number 4, Nina Ansaroff. This one is ultra disappointing. Nina Ansaroff may not have the biggest name value, but she is the 5th ranked UFC women's strawweight. If you need some sort of weird justification to include her beyond our Octagon success, she is engaged to champ Amanda Nunes. All that aside, she has wins over Angela Hill, Randa Marcos, and Claudia Gadelha, all of whom are in the game. Number 3, Vicente Luque. Okay, how is Vicente Luque not in EA UFC 4? The 10th ranked welterweight has won 8 of 9 fights, with his lone loss coming against Stephen Thompson. Beyond that, Luque has 11 UFC stoppages. 11. The dude is ultra talented and non-stop action. He has a great fan-friendly style to play with. How is he not in the game? Number 2, Calvin Kattar. Calvin Kattar has been an impressive UFC prospect for years now, and 2020 cemented him as a legitimate threat in the featherweight division. He has won 4 of his last 5 fights over Dan Ige, Jeremy Stevens, Ricardo Lamas, and Chris Fishgold. Even in defeat, he gave Zabit Magomedsharipov the toughest test of his UFC career. We'll give the developers a tiny pass considering Kattar really hit his stride this year, but just barely. Number 1. Pedro Munhoz. There is no excuse to exclude Pedro Munhoz from EA UFC 4. The man is headlining a card on August 22nd against the legendary Frankie Edgar. Okay, let's say that booking is far too recent for developers to consider. Fair enough. You'll see that the game has a bunch of fighters who shouldn't be in it only because they were in previous iterations of the game, and it is way easier to transfer over old fighters versus creating new ones. But one look at his work in 2019 should guarantee him a spot. Not only is he currently ranked number 5 in the bantamweight division, but he knocked out Cody Garbrandt in vicious fashion at UFC 235 in March 2019. He has won 3 of his last 4 fights with 1 loss to Aljamain Sterling. Let's get the man in EA UFC 4 ASAP. And that is all for today's video. Let us know in the comments section, who do you think is the biggest omission from EA UFC 4, and who are the fighters you would like to see implemented ASAP? If you liked the video, the best way you can help our channel grow is by hitting subscribe and tapping the notification bell. A like doesn't hurt either. I've been Shaquille Mahjouri, and we'll catch you next time.